all started about a week ago. I got into the scene where I threatened to kick Lyle Henson across the schoolyard because he was bugging Lindsay, who happens to be my girl. I mean, he was calling her up all the time, asking her to go out with him. And everyone knows she's going out with me. So him trying to think like that is like showing no respect to me. So I talked to him, and he was getting kind of rude. So I had to straighten him out. Straighten him out real fast, action hero style. Like bam, wham, and slam it. And anyway, somehow I got back to my mother. You know, she talked to me about violence and asked my father to talk to me. But only thing is, my old man's in jail, doing 2 to 4 for armed robbery. What's he really gonna say to me? Don't be like me, boy. Of course I ain't gonna be like him. Who wants to spend their life in jail when everyone else is out having fun? I know I don't. So, anyway, we're gonna go come Saturday, we're gonna go see him like we always do, and he's gonna say, behave yourself and take care of your mother. And I'm gonna be like, yes, Dad, no, Dad, and act like I'm listening. And, I mean, I would if he was a lawyer, or maybe even a banker, or maybe even a cop. But ain't no way I'm listening to no jailbird. What do you think I am, dumb or something?
I think the thing we have to do now is to get her signature on the form. That way we can just put it behind us. Just get the signature and wrap things up quickly.
I'd like to talk to her. I just need a few more things so the report's complete.
Becky, I have done scars of this situation, and they are all lambs. While they're still working for the airline, but once they are dismissed and have an attorney working on a percentage, they are monsters. She could come back and say anything. She could say it was stress related. Say her supervisor were harassing her. The airline needs her to sign.
I just need a few more things. I'm sure you don't want anyone second guessing us later.
Becky, she can't stay.
I understand that, Sam, but a few more minutes isn't going to matter.
Our assets are online with legal if she doesn't sign.
I'd like to talk to her.
Why, Becky? Why?
Once she's gone, we'll never know.
Hi, Doctor. I didn't think I was going to see you again.
Oh, no, Lisa. I wanted to see you again very much. Have a seat, please.
I'm glad to see you got over your cold. It takes me forever to shake them.
Thanks. My husband made me stay in bed for a few days.
How wonderful. He looks out for you.
We were wondering if you feel comfortable enough.
Lisa, for the most part, you've got an outstanding record. You've been working with the airline, what, 9 years?
10 years in December.
I'm sure you must have lots of wonderful friends at the airline by now.
Oh, I do, Doctor. I do. I'm blessed. And then, at the end of the day, we all go our separate ways.
Lisa, I wonder if you could tell me the first time you exceeded policy.
I don't think...
One of the first times, then?
3, maybe 4 years ago. I was on my PM shifts, and a heavyset businessman approached my ticket station. He was carrying his luggage, and he seemed out of breath. He sort of wheezed when he wasn't talking. And he looked so tired of the world, Doctor.
Do you remember his name?
No, but I do remember he wanted low-salt meals. He was bound for business in Tokyo and wanted low-salt meals. And then I remember thinking, how could this man let himself get so run down and then get on a long flight? Long flights dehydrate you.
You felt sorry for him.
I was worried about his health. And so, while I stood there, it came to me. This man should be swimming in a blue tropical lagoon, not headed for more business in Tokyo. It was on my mind that the Tokyo trip could wait. And then I remember thinking, Lisa, this is crazy. You have no right interfering with this man's life. But then I thought he just needed someone to look out for him.
So you...
Changed his destination. Shift keystroke code enter, and he was on his way to Hawaii, the big island. The one with black rocks, Mr. Sawyer.
Yes, I know. And thank you.
He didn't question you about the flight number?
Well, Doctor, thanks to Mr. Sawyer and the fine people and personnel, I've learned to be very reassuring. People are jittery enough about flying that they don't need the equivocation of a ticket agent. I simply told him that the flight number would change when he arrived in Hawaii.
He didn't question it.
Well, he did, but at this point I bumped him up to first class, and a tiny smile crossed his face. He had a really nice, boyish smile. I told him he was the only one in first class flying to Tokyo, and then he went to his plane. Except that flight never made it to Tokyo. And hopefully, I'm hoping he found a blue tropical lagoon to swim in, one with yellow fish. I'd like to think of him swimming with yellow fish.
And what happened at that point?
Nothing at all. The next day I was sure I'd be fired. I even bought a cardboard box to put my belongings in, but no one said anything. No one, not a word.
And this pleased you?
I was worried about his health.
Why do you suppose it started?
I don't know. Really, I don't.
Lisa, I don't want to take any more of your time than necessary. If you want, you can sign right now.
It happened again, didn't it?
Uh-huh. A few weeks later, a family approached my ticket station. The parents were arguing, and the baby had a cold. In fact, the mother was snippish with me. But I'm sure it was on her poor mind that the baby was going to be in Chicago in the middle of winter. Can you imagine? But then I remember thinking, if they were in a better frame of mind, they'd be really lovely people. Really lovely.
You did something again.
Shift keystroke, code enter, and they were on their way to Phoenix. Phoenix is just wonderful in winter, a guaranteed 80 degrees, and you can golf among the saguaro cactus. Plenty of art galleries in Scottsdale, too. And I thought the desert air would be just wonderful for the baby's cold. I can imagine the baby breathing in that warm desert air.
So, you ticketed them to Phoenix, but told them it was a layover to Chicago?
Yeah, but they never made it closer than 2,000 miles to Chicago on that trip. Not that Chicago isn't a fine city, gateway to the Midwest and all.
And the couple accepted your explanation?
Well, thanks to Mr. Sawyer and the wonderful people and personnel, I've learned to inspire confidence.
And what happened then?
Nothing. Nothing from the family, nothing from my superiors, nothing at all. I hope they had a wonderful time in Phoenix. Have you ever been to Phoenix, Mr. Sawyer?
No, I have never been vacationing on Phoenix.
Doctor?
I have a buddy who practices tax law there.
I recommend you stay at the Phoenician. They have a wonderful nutritionist and dinner at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
Sounds like you've spent a lot of time in Phoenix.
Me? No. I just read guidebooks on my days off, or I bring them home at night after I feed and comb my cat. She starts clawing my couch if I'm not home on time. I like Borders, but especially the Michelin.
Lisa, was there any change in your personal life that coincides with this period? Some disappointment?
No.
The death of a loved one?
No.
The end of a romance?
Not that. God, I am way too busy having fun and pursuing my interests. After I feed and comb my cat, I'm out the door. Night classes, my work at the animal shelter. I guess I just wanted the family to be happy and healthy again. That's all. Nothing complicated.
You altered more and more destinations, didn't you?
Yes, that's true.
How many do you suspect you changed the first year?
About 10.
And the second year?
35.
God, Jesus.
Or 40.
Are you going to explain this? Are you going to explain this, or are you just going to sit there and stonewall? Because you would think could subject this airline to
Sam.
any number of lawsuits.
Enough, Sam.
Becky, what are you talking about?
Nothing happened.
Where something could have happened.
I'm sorry, I am. I know this exceeds company guidelines.
Lisa, it's time to sign this termination agreement. It just makes clear the conditions of dismissal. So there is no misunderstanding.
Lisa, you ought to talk to a lawyer first.
I think it would be best if she signed now, Becky.
Mr. Sawyer.
I'm the doctor here.
You're the airline's doctor.
You don't have to get upset. I'm here. Doctor.
Becky, do you want your consulting contract with the airline review? Because you're supposed to be working for us.
I answer to the state medical board.
Well, then maybe they'd like to pay your salary.
Lisa.
There, it's done. It's not worth the two of you arguing. Two close friends, two colleagues. It's not worth that. I always thought it was important for us to have friends, someone to look out for us. It'd be a pretty sad world if we didn't. Mr. Sawyer, I'm not going to sue the airline. I'm having way too much fun pursuing my interests. It's kind of like a novel, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter.
Lisa, it'd be best if you return your uniforms and other airline property promise. We can avoid more trouble that way.
Aren't you going to give her the letter?
Anything you or I do or say.
For Christ's sake, Sam, just give her the letter. Jesus.
I remember them. They were traveling with their grandmother. Nana, they called her. Nana.
You changed their lives forever, Lisa. They'll never forget you. Do you understand that? They will never forget you.
I just thought they needed someone to look out for them. Isn't it lucky we all have someone to do that?
I've been standing right here. I've been standing right here with you, Troy. I got a life too. I gave 18 years of my life to stand in the same spot with you. What about me? What about my hopes and dreams? Didn't you ever think that I wanted someone to make me laugh, to make me feel good about myself? But I held on to you. I held on tighter. Did you ever think about me? No. But I erased the thought in my mind that you wasn't the finest man in the world because you were my husband, and I owed you everything I had, and I gave it to you. And wherever you was, I wanted to be there because that was the only way I was going to survive as your husband. You always talked about what you wanted, what you gave and what you didn't give, and what you didn't give, but you never thought about what you took. And what you take is what I don't have. That's it. Giraffe said, if I can hear you from up here, you're too loud. True story. So Larry, is this your first time?
My first time what?
Your first time here.
I'm not sure I know where here is.
Of course you do, honey. Just have a seat.
Am I dreaming?
Of course not. Just take a nice deep breath and have a seat.
Which one?
It doesn't matter. Just bend those knees. Okay, well, God's running a little late, but she'll be here in just a few seconds. Good luck, Larry.
Thank you. Wait, what? Who will be here?
Bonjour. Bonjour, buenave. Hello. Welcome. Sorry we're running a little late, but it happens all the time. But welcome. So this is it. What do you think?
What?
Monsieur Humford?
Larry? I'm Larry.
Damn it. Petra, this thing's all screwed up again.
If you used it properly.
Anyway. Larry. Hi.
Hi.
So, I'm God.
What?
I'm God. Ta-da.
But...
Oh, come on. You always knew. Remember back in 4th grade when you fell out of that tree? And you broke your leg, and you asked me not to take you, so I bent down, patted you on the head, and said, don't worry, child. Remember?
I never fell out of a tree.
Damn it. Petra, it's all screwed up again.
Look in the left column, God. Remember, alternate columns for alternate hemispheres?
I don't know why you think I could handle one of these things. You've seen my work.
You promised you'd give it a try.
Fine. Larry, let me try again. Okay. You were 7. You were having your tonsils out. Remember that?
Yeah, I think so.
Remember you were trying to be brave and not cry?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I remember it. I remember how the gas mask smelled. It was so strange and strong.
So you asked me to help you wake up, and before you went to sleep, I said...
I will.
Yes, I will. You were so small then, trying to be brave and... Hold on, I'm crying.
You are God.
I am God.
So, you mean you're really...
I know it's a shock, Larry, but I'm a woman.
But, you...
Hey, what can I tell you? All those painters got it wrong. Why did you people keep drawing me as an old guy with a beard? Hello, I'm God, I shave. Still, not too shabby, right? Want to see how I made the Alps? Bam, bam.
But you
Yes?
have,
Nice hair, what?
no. I mean, your hair is very nice, but
You think? I just had it done, but I'm not too thrilled. Anyway, we could talk about my hair, babe, all day, believe me. That's not why you're here. You know, you're gonna want some lemonade for this.
nah, no, I don't.
Come on, it's from God. Give it a go. Petra, sweetie.
Lemonade's coming right up.
Isn't she fabulous? Love her.
Did you tell him yet?
I'm getting to it now.
We're behind schedule.
I know.
Again.
I know. I'm doing it now, okay?
Wait, I think I get it.
You do?
You're just a visual concept of God that I can understand. You're appearing to me like this in a form that I can process, instead of your true form. Of course.
What?
I mean, you,
This is me, kiddo. You want to see it again? Bam, bam.
but,
Look, I would love to talk about me all day, really, babe. My true form, the ounce, really. But Petra's right. The schedule's tight, and I'm constantly reminded that time is short. So I'm going to have to get right to it. Lawrence Gregory Christopher, I hereby appoint thee a prophet of the Lord.
Here we go.
Thank you so much, sweetie. Seriously, try some, babe. It's good.
a prophet of the Lord? That can't be.
No, it's right. Right, Petra?
Right as always.
But I can't be a prophet.
Why not?
I'm just a guy.
Well, that's what prophets are, except when they're girls.
But I'm just a guy, a schmo. I work at Borders. I only go to church on Christmas. I write bad poems. I have dirty DVDs. I have a dog who keeps pooping in the apartment.
Oh, I love dogs. What kind?
I think he's a little freaked.
I know, they all are. Weird, huh? Listen, Lenny,
Larry.
it's not that big of a deal. Well, it is. I mean, you're here talking to God, and hey, she's a stunner, but it's not like you have to become a priest or anything.
I don't?
No, well, unless you want to. Look, this is how it works. I have a message for you, and I want you to communicate my message to other people.
You mean spread the word?
Something like that, yes.
Oh, like go on TV and tell everybody I talk to God?
Oh, whoa.
Goodness, no.
I asked you to communicate my message, not be a jerk about it.
Then how?
Listen, I'll leave you two alone. God, really.
I know. Listen, Larry, I want you to communicate my message in whatever way possible, in however way pleases you, in song, in conversation, in dance, in the way that you smile, really. It's up to you. Now, are you going to try the lemonade or not?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's good.
Really? It's not too sweet?
No, it's good.
I was afraid it was too sweet. I like it sweet. Petra, he likes the lemonade.
I knew he would.
So, are you ready, Larry? For your message?
Sure, I guess.
Okay. Here it goes. I am a reflection of the world, and the world is a reflection of me.
Is that all?
That's all.
I don't get it.
You don't? Jeez, I worked so hard on that. Okay, let me try again. I am a reflection of the world, and the world is a reflection of me. You see?
You are a reflection of the world.
And the world?
And the world is a reflection of you.
Right.
I think I get it.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah, I really do.
Well, that's fabulous.
It all makes sense now. You're saying that we, meaning mankind, we've tainted the world. We've damaged the world. It's damaged. We fight each other. We kill each other. We're ruining it. We've taken this beautiful gift of life, of land, of love, but we've abused it. It's damaged. It's crippled. And that's reflected in you. You're saying that we've crippled the world. And as a result, we've crippled God. God, I'm sorry. We've crippled God. I'm so sorry.
Come to me. Come. No. No. I mean, the world is pretty like me.
Oh,
We've crippled God. What the hell?
Oh, what?
You do think I'm pretty, right?
Yes.
Or you're one of those, you know.
What?
You know they're abominations, right?
They are?
No. Okay, no. Sit down. Sit down. I'm sorry I slapped you, but nobody caused me damage and nobody caused me crippled. Got it?
I'm sorry.
Look, don't be telling people I called anyone an abomination, okay? I was just kidding about that.
So, you mean they're not?
Oh, no. If anything should be clear to you people, it's that I like a little variety.
So, do you want me to spread that message too? You know, that they're not?
No. No, I've given that message to plenty of prophets already. Of course, they've all turned out to be playwrights. No, it's okay. You stick with your message. You got a good one.
But I still don't understand.
It's okay. You will. Look at me, sweetie. I know the world isn't a perfect place. I mean, I see what goes on here, believe me. But perfection is sterile. It just doesn't fit. It's all wrong. I mean, that's why I kicked Adam and Eve out of the garden, because they just...
Oh! I thought it was because they stole an apple.
Oh, please no. I totally made that up. Hey, you guys ate my special apple. Those two. I'll tell you, nice kids, but not my best work. I was young. They didn't belong in a perfect world. Nobody does. Especially me. Are you starting to understand?
I think so.
And it's okay, you will. Just give it some time, but not too much time though, okay?
Okay. So
it's time for you to go. Patra, sweetie.
God,
Yeah?
can I ask you a question?
Sure. What?
Well, it's just, I have so many.
Look, when the time's right, you can ask them, but for now, just focus on my message, okay?
Okay.
Patra, he's waking up. We better do this now.
Okay, Larry. We're going to go over your re-entry procedures. First, when you wake up, you might be a little hungry. You might even be a little thirsty. But don't worry. Just wake up nicely. Have a good night.
Bye, Larry. And I meant that about not being a jerk, okay? No billboards. Just communicate, okay?
He was a nice guy.
Yeah. So we have 4 more today?
6.
Ugh. He's gonna go right to play, isn't he?
They all do.
Damn it. All right. Bring in the next one.
Ryan, there's something I have to tell you. I was born in 1931. I never lied to you. I am 23, but I've been 23 since the year 1954. I know this is a lot to take in, and I know we haven't been seeing each other very long, but I want to tell you the truth now, before you got any more invested. I know, it's impossible, right? No one lives forever, but sometimes they do. In 1954, I got married. A few weeks after the wedding, I suddenly fell ill. My husband took me to the hospital. And I was there for almost a week, Ryan, a whole week. I was in so much pain, and no one can tell me what was wrong. One night, this stranger came to me, and he told me that I was going to die tomorrow. I didn't know what to do. He said that I was going to die tomorrow, and he offered me a chance to live forever. The first thing that came to my mind was the devil had come to tempt me. But I don't believe in the devil, so he wasn't the devil. And I didn't know what to do.
I'm almost a whole day old now. I arrived yesterday. Or was it the day before yesterday? It could be that it was the day before yesterday and I just wasn't paying attention. Never mind. It's best to start correctly and not get the record confused. For instinct tells me that this will be important to historians one day. For I feel exactly like an experiment. Yes, that's a good word. An experiment. So if I'm an experiment, am I the whole of it?
This new creature with the long hair is a good deal in the way.
No, I think not. Though I'm the main part of the experiment, the other share has its share in the matter too.
He's always hanging around and following me about. I'm not used to this. I don't like company.
Is my position assured? Or do I have to watch it and care for it?
I wish you would stay with the other animals.
Instinct tells me eternal vigilance is the price of supremacy. Not a bad phrase for one so young, don't you think?
If I keep a chronicle of my thoughts, it'll take my mind off that thing. Cloudy today. Wind in the east. Think we'll have rain today. We? Where did I get that word?
And since vigilance is the price of supremacy, I'll keep a diary of my thoughts. I've observed that there are too many stars in the sky, and not enough in other places. And last night, the moon fell out of the sky. What a great loss. I do love moons. Stars are good too.
I wish it would not talk.
Stars would look nice in my hair, but I don't suppose I can ever get them. Though they don't look it, they're actually very far off. I proved this by trying to grab some with a pole, but found I couldn't do so. So I went to the extreme rim of the circle, but couldn't even go there because it was too far and it was turning cold. So I nestled in among some tigers. Their breath was sweet because they only live on strawberries. I've never seen a tiger before, but I knew them in a minute by their stripes.
It is always talking.
Today, I'm getting better ideas of distance because I reached for a beautiful flower which was but 6 inches away. But alas, there was thorns between. I learned a lesson. Also, I made up an axiom. The shunned experiment shuns the sharp, thorny plant. Not a bad phrase for one so young.
Been examining the great waterfall. Is the finest thing on the estate, I think. Someday soon, I'd like to dive off of it.
I followed the experiment around today to see what it might be for, but I was not able to make it out. Though it has frowsy hair and hazel-colored eyes, it has no hips and it tapers like a carrot. When it stands, it spreads itself apart like a derrick. I think it might be architecture. Anyway, I thought it was going to chase me, but I found it was only trying to get away. I've got it up the tree again.
Privacy and silence are all I ask for.
They returned the moon last night. I was really happy. But perhaps you care for no such things. It is low taste, and it's not very kind. Yesterday, at twilight, it had crept down and was trying to catch the little speckled fishes that play in the pool. Have you no heart, no compassion, no decency? Is it possible that you're manufactured just to hurt those little creatures? I had to clod it to make it go back in the tree again. One of the clods took it to the back of the ear, and it used language. It was the first time I'd ever heard speech, except my own. Though I didn't understand what it was saying, it seemed expressive. Oh, you can talk. I love to talk. I talk all day and all night, and I'm so interesting. Oh my gosh, but if I had another to talk to, I could be twice as interesting. Try as I may, I cannot fathom what the other experiment is. It's not a carrot or a derrick. It's not put together securely enough to be architecture. Well, you're not an it, so you must be a he. That's it. You're a he.
I think I'll go dive off the Great Waterfall.
You mean Niagara Falls?
Why Niagara Falls?
Because it looks like Niagara Falls.
That's no reason. It's mere waywardness and imbecility. The new creature names everything that comes along before I can get in a protest. And always the same pretext is offered.
Because it looks like the thing.
There is the dodo, for instance.
When the dodo came along, he thought it was a wildcat. I saw it in his eye. But I saved him, and I was careful not to do it in a way that would hurt his pride. I said casually, well, I do declare, if there isn't the dodo, without seeming to be explaining, to not hurt his pride.
How do you know it's a dodo?
Because it looks like a dodo.
The dodo will have to keep that name, no doubt. It worries me to fret about such things, and it does no good anyway.
Though it was evident he was a little piqued at me that I should know when he may ask. It was evident that he admired me.
Dodo. It no more looks like a dodo than I do.
During the last few days, I've taken naming things off his hands. It's been a great relief to him. I try not to let him see that he's aware of this defect. Whenever a new creature comes along, I name it before he can expose himself by an awkward silence. For example, look, there's one of those tigers. In this way, I've saved him many embarrassments. And there's a lamb. The moment I set eyes on an animal, I know exactly what it is. And an elephant and an ostrich.
Why ostrich?
Because it looks like one. Oh, and a horse.
Horse.
A rhinoceros and a lion. And look, there's a giraffe.
Why giraffe?
Because it looks like...
But why does it look like one?
Because it has a long neck.
I get no chance to name anything.
Without reflecting for a moment, I know what the animal is instantly. The name comes to me, as if I'm sure of anything else in the world.
All right then. What am I?
Well, you're not a dodo.
Gee, thanks.
You're not architecture.
Arca what?
A place to live.
Oh.
But you are a he, and therefore that makes you a man? Yes, you're a man.
I knew that. What are you?
A woman, of course.
Why, of course?
Because that is the matter, of course, and the course that things will take.
And if I can help it. I need my privacy.
What are you doing?
Building architecture.
A place to live.
No. Protection from the rain. And that.
Well, at least we are getting better acquainted, which shows that he likes to have me with him. And I stand to be useful to him in every regard.
Let's see. Okay. I've been used to sounds more or less distant. But I don't like ones that are so close. Sounds that intrude upon my solitude offend my ear.
Niagara Falls Park.
What?
The name for this place, Niagara Falls Park.
I had a very good name for it, and it was musical and pretty. I say it is Garden of Eden.
No, this isn't a garden. If anything, it resembles a park. It's woods, rocks, scenery.
My, that's very high-handed of you, naming this great estate without so much as consulting me on the matter.
Well, I don't know much about real estate. All I know is that this doesn't look like a park.
Privately, but no longer publicly, I shall continue to call it Garden of Eden.
We need some keep off the grass signs.
My life is not as happy as it was.
The peaches here are delicious.
The new creature eats too much fruit. We are going to run short, most likely. There's that we again. That's its word.
By the way, I'm not an it. I'm a she. And do you know what my name is?
Cripes.
No, not Cripes. It's Eve. And you may call me that whenever you wish to beckon me.
That would be superfluous.
Where did he get that word? I don't think I've ever used it.
I will have this shelter to myself.
It's strange that my name shouldn't interest him. If he would tell me his name, I would care. It would be more pleasanter than any sound upon my ears. Though he has a good vocabulary, he talks very little. Perhaps he's not very bright and wishes to conceal it. Ah, but brightness is nothing. It is in the heart that true values lie, and values is nothing. If only he would realize that a loving heart is riches, and riches alone. Intellect is poverty. Perhaps you've forgotten your name?
I do not wish to be disturbed.
Would you like me to help you remember your name?
You are not going to name me.
Well,
Not?
you're not an Albert, or an Alphonse, or an Archibald.
Of course not, because my name is Adam!
You know, you look like an Adam,
That's because I am Adam.
which just goes to prove my point.
What point?
Well, if something looks like something, that's what it is.
Give me strength.
You know, this place would make a nice summer resort, if there was any custom for it.
I will not ask what a summer resort is, for she has such a rage for explaining.
We really should put some signs about. This way to the whirlpool, this way to Goat Island, Cave of Winds to the left.
Don't litter the estate with offensive signs. We wouldn't enjoy it as much.
We shall see.
There's that word again.
I use the sociable we a good deal, for it seems to flatter him to be included.
We.
We is made up of a you and a me. Together, we and you, me and you make we. We is more than one person.
Me is what I intend to be. Me, one person, undisturbed by any we.
So I spent the next few days keeping away from him. I hoped he would get lonely, but he didn't. Then I tried to grab one of those apples for him, but I cannot learn to throw straight and I failed. He says they are forbidden and I shall come to harm, but so I come to harm through pleasing him. Why shall I care for that harm? Yesterday afternoon I took my recreation by chasing butterflies and reveling in the flowers, those beautiful creatures that catch the Creator's smile from heaven and preserve it. I gathered them and made them into wreaths and garden, which I ate while I ate my luncheon. Apples, of course. And I sat in the shade and waited, hoping he would notice me. But he didn't. It's no matter. He doesn't care for flowers. He calls them
Rubbish!
and thinks it's superior to know that he can't tell one from another. Nothing would come of it. He doesn't even care for it. He doesn't care for the painted clouds at twilight, for the miraculous pass of color that bless the sky after rain. Is there anything he does care for? Well, except
Thumping melons, sampling the grapes, testing the fruit on the trees, and especially building architecture to protect me from the elements.
He doesn't care for me. That's for sure. I go to the water's edge, and when the water is still, I look for an answer. Am I not beautiful to him? I don't know, for beauty is a secret that is kept from me. I've searched for clues in my reflection. I've even made them up. But the question is always there. Am I not beautiful? I know the answer lies not in any changing image, but in the constancy of his eyes.
Recently, on a day when I thought I'd pulled through, my nose, as she calls it, was assaulted by this terribly acrid, odorous sneeze. I heard her clapping her hands and laughing, and I knew something must be wrong.
Oh, it's so new and strange and wonderful and beautiful.
What is it?
It's fire.
Fire?
Yes. I was curious to know what the pink dust was. So, suddenly, the name occurred to me. Though I'd never heard it before, I was certain of it as a person could be of anything in this world.
How did it come?
Well, I laid a dry stick on the ground, tried to bore a hole in it with another one. So, a thin film rose out. So I tried to put it into a handful of dry grass. You see that? That's smoke. And these flares, they're flames.
What are those?
I wouldn't do that. You see, I made up another axiom. The burnt experiment shuns the fire. Nothing interests him. Why, there were ashes, gray and soft. I knew them at once. And the embers too. Fire is beautiful. And someday, it just might be useful.
The days drag on, she has found a new way to pester me. She begs me continually not to go over the falls.
It makes me shudder.
I've always enjoyed the plunge and the coolness. That's what the falls were made for.
They were only made for scenery, like the rhinoceros and mastodon.
I went over the falls in a barrel. Not satisfactory to her.
The fire had revealed to me a new emotion, different from love or grief, those others which I'd already discovered.
Went over in a tub, still not satisfactory.
The fire had revealed fear to me, and it's horrible. I wish I'd never discovered it. It gives me moments of darkness, it spoils my happiness, but I cannot persuade him, for he's not discovered fear yet and doesn't understand.
I am much too hampered here. What I need is a change of scene.
Adam? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all without seeing him. It's a long time to be alone. Still, it's better to be alone than unwelcome. I had to have company, though. I was made for it. So, I made friends with the animals. They are just charming, and they have the kindest disposition and politest ways. They never look sour. They never let you feel like you're intruding. They smile at you, and they wag their tails if they've got one. And they're always good for a romp or an excursion. All these days you've had such a good time. And when you stand on a rock and look out over the furry expanse, it is so dappled and splashed with color, so frisking with sheen and sunflash, that you might think it was a lake of friendship. For birds and animals are all so friendly to each other, and there are no disputes about anything. They all talk, and they all talk to me. But I can't really understand it. Yet they often hear me when I talk, particularly the dog and the elephant. Parenthetically, it makes me ashamed. It shows me that they are brighter than I am. I, who would like to be the principal experiment. Anyway, we've made long excursions, all very pleasurable and rewarding.
I had escaped last Tuesday, traveled 2 days, and built me a shelter in a very secluded place.
But the excursion we made today was the best.
Though I covered my tracks, she hunted me by means of a tiger
For swiftness,
and a lamb.
for guidance.
I was obliged to return with her, but will presently emigrate when the situation offers.
Adam, why do tigers live on strawberries when their teeth would indicate that they should eat other animals?
That's foolish, because they'd have to kill to do that, which would introduce what, as I understand, would be called death.
And the buzzard has been ailing. It has no meat to feed on.
Death, as I understand it, has not yet entered the park, which is a pity on some accounts.
As time goes on, I learn a number of things and am educating myself. For example, I've experimented and experimented until I learned water never runs uphill. Well, except in the dark. Because I know this, the pool never goes dry, which it would if the water didn't come back at night. It is best to prove things by actual experiment. Then you know. Whereas if you depended on guessing and supposing, you would never get educated. I feel the same way about that tree.
She has been trying to pick apples from that tree again, so I clotted her out of it.
Ow! Nobody was looking.
Do you consider that sufficient justification for chancing such a dangerous thing?
Your grammar's really improving.
Don't change the subject.
But the only way one can learn is through experimentation, and fully by an instinct that one knows something.
Oh?
Yes, for instance, I know that I was taken from a rib from your body.
That's foolish, outlandish, and at least very undoubtful. I'm not missing any rib.
Perhaps because I'm always at your side.
They've been keeping diaries. How secure they seem. How dedicated to their own self-importance. How sure of their good they are. What if they were offered the knowledge of both good and evil? Could they handle the alternatives? Or would doubt invade their apple of eating like an affectionate worm? Alternatives can be quite intolerable to humans. Not to a snake, though, for I love that loamy, caressing, underground and unsteady magnitude above it with great ease. Who else can turn their days into nights simply by altering the point of view? By looking at the darker side when it's too bright? Already I'm restless, so my stay here will be brief. I yearn to return below.
She's taken up with a snake now. In a way, I'm glad, because the snake talks, and this enables me to get some rest.
Oh yes, I'm avidly interested in acquiring knowledge, which is why I believe so firmly in experimentation. Why, by experiment, I found out that wood swims, as do feathers and other things. With all that cumulative evidence, I know that a rock will swim. But I have to put up with simply knowing it, for there isn't a way to test it. But I shall find a way.
The labor of inquisitive mind always bears fruit.
Some things you can't find out. No, you'll have to go on patiently experimenting until you find out that you can't find out. And it's so delightful to have it that way. It makes everything so interesting. If there wasn't anything to find out, well, life would be dull.
Life should be fruitful, not dull.
Even trying to find out and not finding out is just as interesting as trying to find out and finding out. And possibly more so. The secret of the water was a treasure, until I found out what really happened. And the excitement of it all went away. I recognized a sense of loss. But I think there are so many things to learn yet. And if I economize and don't learn too quickly, there will be things to learn for weeks and weeks.
Limited knowledge is fruitless.
But there seems to be a limit to everything. If you cast up a feather, it sails away. If you throw up a clod, it comes down. And the stars, well, I know they're not going to last. I've seen some of the best ones fall down out of the night sky. If one can melt, well, they all can. And they can all melt the same night. I know that night will come. But I will sit up every night and remember those sparkling fields to my memory, so that when they are taken, I can restore them to the sky and make them sparkle again, and then double them by the blur of my tears.
Applesauce.
What?
There's nothing worse than total dedication and partial knowledge.
But I've proven my theories by careful observation and deduction.
Your conclusions, though charming and folksy, would never interest historians.
But I yearn to know, to learn, to understand.
This tree is the only tree in the garden, I beg your pardon, the park, which can bequeath true knowledge, the ultimate wisdom, unending and unfolding.
How?
She says the snake advises her to eat of the fruit of the tree, and says the result will be
A fine and noble education.
I told her there would be another consequence, too. It would introduce death into the world.
Well, then we could feed the sick buzzard and furnish fresh meat to the despondent lions and tigers.
Keep away from that tree!
No!
I foresee trouble.
What do I have to do?
Experiment.
I will immigrate.
And will all that wisdom make Adam love me?
You will be the apple of his eye.
I escaped last Tuesday, rode a horse all night as fast as I could go, hoping to get clear of the park before the trouble should begin, but it was not to be. About an hour after sunup, as I was riding through the plains where thousands of animals were grazing, all of a sudden, they burst into a tempest of frightful noises, and in one moment that plain was a frantic commotion. I knew what it meant. Eve had eaten the apple, and death was coming to the world. They ate my horse, paying no attention when I ordered them to stop. They would have eaten me if I'd stayed, which I didn't. Luckily, I found this place outside the park and was fairly comfortable for a few days, but she has found me out. You see what you have done? You made me lose my property.
Never was good with real estate.
You are willful, stubborn, and incapable of rationality.
Have an apple.
It was against my principles, but I find that principles have no real force except when one is well fed.
I'd like to now point out that you are the cause of this disaster, for the snake assured me that apple was not the forbidden fruit. The forbidden fruit was chestnuts.
Chestnuts, you say? Well, then, unless I miss my mark, nope, I'm innocent, for I have never eaten any chestnuts.
The snake told me that chestnut was a figurative term, meaning an aged and moldy joke.
I turned pale, for I had made several jokes to pass the time, and some of them could have been of that caliber, but I thought they were new when I made them.
Had you made one at the time of the catastrophe?
One, but only to myself and not out loud.
And what was that?
Well, you get a love of this. I was thinking about the fall, so I was going, how wonderful it is to see that large body of water tumble all the way down there. Then, in an instant, a light turned off in my head, and I let it loose without thinking, saying, it would be more wonderful to see the water tumble up there. Oh, I was just about to kill myself with laughter when nature broke loose and death had come into the world.
There. That's it. Just as I left the park, the snake mentioned that very jest to me and called it the first chestnut, and said it was as old as creation.
Would that I were not so witty.
You are indeed to blame.
Oh, that I had never had that radiant thought.
But then, that's the burden of brilliance.
Wait a minute. What is this, draping leaves and branches over yourself? Take them off!
Adam, please.
I'd never seen a person blush and titter before, and to me it seemed idiotic.
You'll soon know how it is yourself.
She was right. Go, get some more leaves, tendrils, brigs, tangents, anything you can find.
ordering me not to make a spectacle of myself.
And after that, we went to where the wild beast battle had been and collected some skins.
And he made me patch together some proper for public occasions.
They are uncomfortable, it is true,
But stylish.
and that is the main point of clothes.
Well, I suppose we shall have to get to work.
Work?
Yes, something we shall have to do for the rest of our lives. It's ordered.
She'll be useful. I will superintend.
And so we worked. And time moved a pattern of days into weeks, and weeks into months, and after a while,
We have named it Cain. She caught it while I was up country trapping. Caught it in the timber a couple of miles from our house.
it resembles us in some ways, and maybe a relation.
This is an error in judgment. The difference in size warrants the conclusion that it's a different and new kind of animal. A fish, perhaps. But when I put it into water to see if it could swim, it sank. And she pulled it out before the experiment could determine the matter.
How can you be so unfeeling?
I still think it's a fish, but she's indifferent about what it is.
And I'm not going to let him have it to try.
I don't understand. The coming of that creature seems to have changed her whole nature and made her unreasonable about experiments.
I just care so much for it.
More than she does for any of the other animals.
I can't explain why. Look, it's laughing. Adam, have you ever seen a fish that could laugh?
Well, it may well be that it's not a fish. Well, I can't get a chance to examine it. All right, if it's not a fish, it's an enigma.
That's a nice word, Adam.
Either an enigma or some kind of bug. If it dies, I will take it apart and see what its arrangements are.
The months went by, and somehow an explanation still eluded him. Look how it's grown. It must be 5 times as big now.
Yes, and it's able to make 38 times the noise it first made. I have worn myself out these many weeks trying to find another like it for this one to play with. For surely that one would be quieter and far easier to tame with one of its own. But I find no vestige of any kind.
I wonder when you'll be fully grown.
It has fur on its head now.
Not like kangaroo fur, but exactly like our hair, only except it's much finer and softer.
Last week, I caught a true kangaroo and brought it to this one for company. But it went to such fits at the sight of the kangaroo that I was convinced it had never seen one before. I pity the poor little animal, but there's nothing I can do to make it happy. Why don't we let it go?
No, that would be cruel and inhuman.
She may be right. If I can't find another one like it, how could it?
5 months old now, and still you grow. Here, take my finger. Look, it's walking.
It is not a kangaroo.
Come on.
Since it walks on its hind legs, it is probably a kind of bear,
It has no tail and no fur.
except on its head.
Adam.
May I point out that it already has a tooth?
Yes, let's see your tooth. Smile.
If it gets a mouthful of teeth, it will have to go, tail or no tail, for a bear doesn't need a tail to be dangerous.
Really, I thought you had more compassion.
She was not like this before she lost her mind.
There now, go to sleep.
And after a few months, let's see here, the bear has already learned to walk, and it can say Papa and Mama. This imitation of speech, and its absence of fur and tail indicates this might be a new kind of bear. Further study is required. Meantime, I will go up north and make an exhaustive search. There must be another one like it somewhere, and this one will be far less dangerous if I can find another one of its own. I will go straight away.
When I look back, the garden is a dream to me. It was so beautiful, enchantingly beautiful. But I will never see it again. The garden is lost. But I found Adam, and I'm content. He loves me as well as he can. I love him with all the strength of my nature. Yet, if I ask why I love him, I find I don't know. I love certain birds because of their song, but I don't love Adam because of his singing. His voice sours milk. But no matter, I can get used to that kind of milk. It's not on account of his industry that I love him. I think he has it in him, but he conceals it from me. Otherwise, he's frank and open with me. And it's not for his education that I love him, for he's self-educated and knows a multitude of words, but they're not real. Then why do I love him? At heart, he is good, and I love him for that. But I could love him without it. If he were plain, I would love him. If he were a wreck, I should love him, and I would work for him and slave over him, and pray for him, and watch by his bedside until I died. Yes, I think I love him because he is masculine, and because he's mine. There is no other reason, and I suppose that the one thing I am sure of, this kind of love is not a product of reasoning or statistics. It just comes. Who knows from where, and cannot explain why. Well, that is what I think. But then I am the first woman who has examined this matter, and it may be that in my inexperience, I didn't get it right.
Weary hunt. I have had no success. In the meantime, though, she has caught another one.
His name is Abel.
Oh, I've never saw such luck. I might have searched these woods for 100 years and never found that thing. You know, comparing the new one with the old one is perfectly plain they are the same breed. This one's just as ugly as the other one was, and has the same singular head without any fur on it.
Like a fish?
It's not a fish. There's the same short front legs and same long hind legs as the other one.
Like a kangaroo.
It's not a kangaroo. And then there will be no doubt you walk on its hind legs.
Like a bear.
Don't interrupt. Let's see. This one has a head, a body, 2 hind legs, and 2 front legs? No, 2 arms. Yes. Both of these creatures are constructed in the same way, just as we are.
That's right.
Eve, I know what they are. By their shape and how they act, the right name came to me like a flash.
Oh?
Eve, they are boys.
Why boys?
Well, because they look like boys.
Oh.
And the whole thing is so clear to me now. It's just a simple matter of mathematics. You see, the words you and me only add up to 2, whereas the word we multiplies.
And I expect we should have a girl or 2 someday, right?
A girl.
Part of that multiplication.
Yes, the word we multiplies. And in the simple mathematics of life, we must learn to conquer the things that divide. Things like time.
And death?
We must survive. That's the way it is now.
If we were back in the garden, it would be so much easier.
We must survive.
The sun is setting. We must go to sleep.
Somehow.
Do you remember how beautiful the evenings were in the garden?
Well, I like these evenings too.
Is it because you named them after me?
Perhaps.
Oh, Adam, do you miss the garden? Do you regret our move?
Wherever you are, there is Eden.
Adam.
Well, after I get the cows from the west pasture, I'll be back for dinner. Oh, what are we having?
Brontosaurus steak, a fern salad, and, well, for dessert, The usual.
I know. Apple pie.
Richard, are you awake? I think you are awake, but you don't have to say anything. You can pretend, if you want, that I'm a dream you're having. It might be easier that way because I seem to be unable to say what I want to say when you're near me. All I can do is camouflage myself and squirm under your stare. There's this beautiful life dying inside both of us, and it's not in my power to counteract what's happening. It takes energy to break out of this pattern, and I just don't have it on my own. All I seem to want now, my one desire, is to compress all of it and get it all over with. All the baths I'll take, all the lovemaking and the stares out the window, just compress them all and get them over with. Every morning, I want to start anew, and it feels within my power to do so. And then I see my slip draped over the chair, and something sticking out of a drawer. And my wristwatch is waiting for my wrist, and by the time I put it on, it's too late. I'm told that nothing's real, that there's no God, no soul, just glands and secreting. And even the little shred of unhappiness that I thought that I could claim as my own, even that, I'm told, is nothing more than a case of glands and hormones secreting and desecrating. And I feel, Richard, and I'm wounded, and your lies, yes, I know about your lies. They won't let this wound heal. I could be a glamorous woman, Richard. There's so much beautiful within me. Please, don't keep killing me like this. Richard.